You are tuned in to the Leading Edge Conversations podcast. We're about to dive deep, so strap yourself in and get ready to explore the leading edge of consciousness. Welcome to this episode of Leading Edge Conversations, and I'm super excited to bring you one of my favorite people in the entire cosmos, not just the world, but the entire cosmos. This is my beautiful soul brother, Ehren Steed. Ehren, how are you doing, brother? What's going on?
Oh, brother. Oh, it's amazing to be here. Thank you so much for asking. And it just felt like time, perfect synchronicities and alignments. And it's truly an honor to chat with you and to open this subject up and open what's been going on. And yeah, it felt like it's almost been a long time coming, and now we're here. It's like really exciting. So really good.
Yeah, so good. And I just met Ehren again at this festival a couple of weeks ago, and we used to play together in London a lot, and it was so beautiful every time we met. Just huge hugs, those kind of ones where you like just jump into each other's arms, and it was just so
Yeah.
fun and easy to be with. And then we saw each other at this festival recently, and it was my favorite reconnection out of all the people who I met there. And it was just this, my soul was so happy to see him, and I kind of know why it was happy to see him after we got to chat and do some fun stuff together, because Ehren is one of the most cosmic people I have ever had the pleasure of meeting, and I know some pretty weird and wonderful people. And the way he operates is really leading edge, and his ego doesn't like so much saying how amazing he is. He tries to be like super, super humble, but he is amazing. So, and I'm really excited to bring Ehren onto this show because I want to kind of get him, and we'll pull out some of this knowledge and wisdom and experience that he's had working on this very galactic, multi-dimensional level. He's here to help the ascension of this whole planet, and he's doing some incredible work. And when I say he as well, it's not necessarily to think of it as the person that is him, right? It's this energy that is coming through him that he's a vessel for. And when I say me, when I say like I do things, I don't mean like I as in this human. This human's amazing. I talk about my highest self. Some people call it your I am presence. You call it your oversoul. You call it your whatever it is, right? All sorts of different names. And I also call it the creator of all that is, because I believe we are all that. We are all God.
I am that I am.
Yeah. And once we understand, and I feel that right now I'm talking to God, I'm talking to another aspect of myself. And whenever I'm talking to anybody, whether it's a homeless person on the street or whether it's a family member, they are God to me, and they give me such interesting reflection. So what we have here is a very beautiful aspect of God. And he's also done loads of amazing things in the physical. He's written a book called Generating Happiness, and he started a mystery school of Zion, which has been like this amazing wisdom school where he's been helping teach people all these mysteries and unraveling things. And he's helped me personally. Ehren has guided me and mentored me through various different activations. So, wow. Strap yourselves in, everyone. This is going to be deep. I've asked Ehren to take the gloves off and not hold back and just fully go into it. So, Ehren, right now on our planet, there's some pretty interesting stuff happening. If everybody's noticed, there's been some like really, really extra interesting stuff the last couple of years. And it seems that we're on the precipice of something mega. So I'd love to hear from your perspective. What is all of this about?
Wow. Wow, what a way to start. um, well, I suppose the place to begin then would be the journey of consciousness here, and what it means to live in this way as human beings, and then we can start to go into the dimensional levels and what it means to move through the pathway of ascension, because that's really what all life and all creation is about this journey through limitation that we have chosen and accepted, as we all acknowledge ourselves, as begin to acknowledge ourselves as God, as the oneness that we all truly are. And we play with limitation, and we play with that concept of experience, because that's really when we realize that we are the oneness. What else is there to do other than limit ourselves so that we can find our way back through unique expression that we truly are? And each of us are the truest, incredible, most beautiful, unique expressions that have never been before and never will ever be again. And so every moment of every experience is so precious. But what has happened here on earth is this incredible game that we've been playing out of limitation and free will. And it sort of reached a point where, this is my experience, is that we reached a point which was the aim of it in the game of polarity. And like, we could go into all the games that are being played out in the universe, but the polarity game is where we are playing, in which we can experience ultimate fear and ultimate love almost simultaneously. Like, there you can jump from quantum jumps from ultimate fear to ultimate love, such as like Eckhart Tolle. What he did, is he went from completely wanting to kill himself into almost like complete enlightenment. And these things are possible in this game. But on a large mass scale, the journey of humanity reached a point where we were giving away our power so much to not only external forces, but to everything. And like, we just were giving away that power and that free will, that we got to a point in which if we hadn't have asked for help, then we would have reached the point of decimation. We would have destroyed ourselves. And so there was a point in which help was asked for, and help came with the guidance and support of many beings that know as themselves as star seeds, or anything like beings who hold advanced consciousness outside of the illusion of the polarity and the free will from other different places. And we came to support all of the oneness that we are here. And we've been on that journey for a couple of thousand years now, actually. Yeah. And so now we're reaching this like accumulation point of all of that work, where this divine plan for the full remembrance, the full enlightenment of every being on earth will be brought forth. And in order to do that, as humanity's collective unconsciousness asked for help, those who could come in and be born and move through that collective unconscious with as much ease and acceleration as possible could then support the shift that's happening. And I, along with many others, are supporting that on a planetary level. And so that's really what's happening now. There are certain, we could go really deep into like the waypoints, and this has happened, and what's happened, and the moving of our planetary consciousness from the third dimension of consciousness through the fourth dimension, and then solidifying the fifth dimension, which was what happened at the 21st of December last year. So like there is so much to dive into if you wanted to, but I suppose that's just a very brief like outlook of what I've experienced and what I am here supporting on a planetary level, and have been asked to take a part of, or this vessel has been asked to bring through. And it's been a hell of a journey. I hope that sort of opens up other avenues that we could potentially discuss and go into.
Yeah, I would love to know, for everyone who's tuning in and listening in, if they identify as being a star seed or one of these beings that's come here to help with this ascension process. Maybe you're aware of it right now. Maybe you just have a feeling that you're here for some beautiful, big reason, or maybe you just really understand and have witnessed and noticed that you just don't fit in around generally when it's around low vibrational things. That was my experience. I just always knew like where I grew up was not where I was supposed to be. It didn't feel like what I wanted. I wanted so much more purity and love, and I moved out when I was like 17 because I just needed to find something else, and it took me 10 years to find the tribe. and the
Yeah,
people who really got me. And
yeah,
I'm
that level
so
of
glad that, yeah.
it's really, really what sets for those apart who really came. Like it really, really is apparent, and it's amazing. Like the ones that feel that real call is, I came here to support, I came here to assist. And if you feel like that, then there's a very large chance that you came here to facilitate this shift in like consciousness across the whole collective. And I actually am not a big fan of the word starseed, actually, personally, because for me it still creates separation. So it's like us and other. But I do, as I've moved through this, I absolutely remember my lifetimes in other star systems. I have vivid memories of all these other experiences I had in universities of light and studying and everything. So I'm very aware that I came here, but like I have noticed in the communities, like online on Facebook, whatever, this I'm a star seed and I feel this, and I also understand that there's maybe a bit of danger around that's still leading into separation, because if you're born on earth and you're raising your vibration and frequency and you are tuning in, immediately what starts to happen is you immediately go into service, and then it doesn't matter where you're from or what the individual I am presence is originated from. It's just, and that awakening can happen at any point, and then service can just be like, I want to help, I want to support, I want to assist. So yeah, I felt that journey unfold for me, and yeah, it was really interesting to acknowledge all of that wonderful stuff.
I've been through a super fun journey with labels and
Mm.
really deconstructing myself from many kind of labels. Like recently I've detached myself from being English. I don't resonate with being English because the English ancestors were genocidal maniacs who went around traveling around just killing so many people. I don't really want to acknowledge that that's or put any energy into being, yeah, that's who I'm, a collective with. And so it's even that label's come away. And I do find the label of starseed, Eckhart Tolle talks about words as signposts. I find that signpost to be quite useful.
Yeah.
I was at an ecstatic dance 2 days ago, and one of the guys just asked, in like straight away, like, does anybody here do plant medicines? And he just wanted to know, and some people said yes, and then he just used that label as a way to know who he wanted to play with, and like kind of shortcut things. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. I'd never seen that before. Like,
Mm.
he only wants to play with that kind of person, which is his truth. And one label that I do like and I'm happy to be a collective with is vegan.
Mm.
That's one of the only labels really I publicly call myself, because I think that for me is an empowering label, whereas for others it has negative connotations. And so even again, the same label can have different feelings for different people, can't it? And
All matter of perspective. Yeah.
it's such a fun play. But when somebody tries to put me in a box, I usually try and get out of it. But if I'm using that as a framework for something and to attract others, I'm super happy to do that.
Very useful tools at the beginning. Yeah. I really.
Ultimately knowing that we are everything. And so
Well,
that's
you got to start with the identification process. It's almost like this divine dichotomy, isn't it? It's like you start somewhere that actually is serving us. And when I experienced like my liberation, I was told this is that I was associating myself with vast universal force, and that universal force was so prominent, so powerful in my life that I was able to I had that label, that box, and I was shown that at the beginning of my journey, if I didn't have that label or box, I almost like couldn't frame, I couldn't reference what was happening to me, and that box sort of kept me safe. But then once we expand, like to a certain point, we have to let go of that box, no matter how vast it is, because the fundamental truth, which is you just said, right, is we are everything. We are the I am that is all things as well as nothing, because that is the beautiful balance of divine masculine, divine feminine, the divine masculine being the entire light of the universe, the entire creational potential. And the divine feminine is where that light comes from, the very source of light, the very, the darkness itself. And so we are both of those things. But, when we're journeying through expansion, if you just jump into the ultimate everything, it can be like, what the is going on? And so those little boxes help us, like the labels, they help us contain ourselves and prepare and solidify our expansion, to truly be able to like feel stable and grounded and able to move forward, because can be quite a lot, right, to accept that we are God, accept that we are everything. And
It was that was my exact spiritual awakening experience in 2016. I got this connection to this, what I call the creator of all, is this pure love energy, this primordial, beautiful oneness, and I merged with it, and it was so challenging for my body to hold. I was shaking and crying, and like it's just not used to holding that kind of energy. And when I do get a big upgrade, it's usually a similar kind of experience, and my body's trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm like shaking, and I had a wonderful experience one time. This blue lightning bolt came straight down from the sky and just hit me on the top of the head, and I was just boom, my whole body was spasming and crying. And I think when we can surrender into that, that's been a really beautiful thing. And then you kind of rebuild from that new knowledge, that new place of oneness. And I enjoy that deconstruction, reconstruction process personally. I even welcome it. I think it can be scary though, when
oh yeah,
everything falls
yeah,
off.
especially when we don't know what's going on and others around us don't know what's going on. I mean, I literally just started working with somebody as I started stepping back into service in that way again, on working with one-to-ones, and that she just, she had this insane experience, and her whole body received this energy, and the Kundalini energy went through her body, and it like almost like broke her, and all the doctors said it was a nervous breakdown and this and that. And when we're living in a world that doesn't quite understand what it means to be infinite energy held in a limitation form, which is the human vessel, then all of a sudden any sort of cosmic wonderful expansion experience can be literally labeled, put in a box, and then we can believe that, and then once we believe it, we accept it as a truth, and then we have this whole thing. So it's really can be quite challenging for so many who are walking this path to accept that these things are real, to trust that it's okay and it's safe. And I met many people who are really quite afraid of that expansion and that power and that cosmic alignment, right, that's really happening for all of us, because that's really what we're moving into on planetary level, right? Humanity is being fully prepared to accept that they are multidimensional beings having a physical experience, rather than a physical being having occasional experiences that cannot be expressed or explained because there's no information, or that information has been taken away about what it means to live in the universe, as the oneness that we are.
Two of my most amazing friends, when they had their spiritual awakenings, one of them, his family member tried to get him sectioned because they thought he'd gone insane. And the other one did get sectioned. He was put in an institution because for 4 whole days he didn't sleep, and he was channeling this light language. And he said he didn't need to sleep because it was so beautiful, everything that was coming through. And he was trying to explain to people what he was receiving, and everyone just thought he was absolutely insane. But then if you're around people like us, and you start channeling this beautiful light language and telling us all these amazing things, I'll go and get my notepad and start writing down what you're saying.
Oh, tell me more.
And it's just code. Yeah, give me. And I'd love to just open people to the importance of being around people that you can share everything with. and who will hold that space for you, even if they don't understand it.
Mm.
I'm sure you could tell me some things that would absolutely blow my mind, and I hope you do. I hope that'll be very welcomed. And it's not that we even have to understand it through the words. It's like our soul
Mm-hmm.
understands it, right?
Yeah.
Our DNA activates. When people channel light language, I don't know what they say, like
Mm.
physically. I know you channel some amazing things, and I've heard it, and it feels really beautiful in my body. I remember one of the first events I met you at, somebody was channeling light language, and you knew what they were saying. You were able to like translate it, and you did. You got
Mm.
on stage and you translated what was coming through. That was really fascinating to me, because it opened me to be like, oh, maybe I can do that one day.
Mm. It was a really interesting journey for me because I actually started understanding light language before I ever started speaking it. So it was completely opposite for me. I mean, many people are channeling light language now, and they're not quite understanding what they're saying or what others are saying. Whereas for me, coming from where I come from, and having the journey of just being, I mean, I wasn't in my body. I mentioned to this before. I wasn't in my body until earlier this year. So I literally lived 30 years on this planet and never been grounded, never understood what it meant to live physically in my body. And so I was constantly just, everything was energy. And so that, understanding that language and those messages from all the different races, it just, when all this stuff happened to me, it just seems so natural and so normal. Yeah, it was only, I think, I don't even know when, just before Egypt maybe, did I start actually speaking like language. Yeah, it's really interesting, really, really.
One of the things I love about this podcast is it can be a way to inspire people of what is possible for them. And it's not to make it that anyone is better or worse than anybody else. Some people are just a few steps further ahead on the path. And
Yeah.
I personally get really inspired when I see someone who's further on the path. And just exactly like I did with you at the festival, I said, teach me, like, show me, let's do, I want to learn, like, let me be a student. I want to get involved in that. And that's my experience of finding some people like yourself who remember more of who they are, because we all remember. When I take my clients in our sessions, they remember. It's just they don't consciously remember, but their subconscious knows, right? Their soul knows. And when we can communicate with that part. And one of the things that you told me, which really intrigued me, was that you have a full memory recall of previous incarnations, and that you're able to like bring that into your experience. And that was fascinating to me. I guess that kind of ties in with what you're saying here about understanding these languages. Maybe can you explain to everybody what that means to have full memory recall of these different experiences?
Yeah. So that really happened as I started to embody what I call the oversoul. And the oversoul is guiding and directing, in my experience, the simultaneous lifetimes that are happening, because as we move out of three dimensions of sequential time, time exists more like a river. In the fourth dimension, it's like a single flow, and you can take, you know, like your finger out of one point and put it in another, and it's just all one flow. And so all what we call past experiences, actually, when living and experiencing things multidimensionally, they're all happening simultaneously. So I can actually look into these other experiences knowing that they're happening now, and knowing that in sequential time, in this dimension, that I am on the leading edge, right, of those things in sequential time. And so when I started to embody what I call the oversoul, these lifetimes really started to reveal themselves to me. And I realized that each and every lifetime that is happening simultaneously is affecting my now. And this is exactly like what like Siddhartha Gautama did, the Buddha underneath the banyan tree. Is he, through Vipassana, like things, and the teaching of Vipassana that he was shown is how to remove the energetic connections, that are not only connecting ourselves to our past in this lifetime, but also the other lifetimes that are happening simultaneously. And this is a process. And he got to a point after many, many years of study and many, many years of practice and like dedication, that he sat down and he dedicated himself to it in like a 24-hour period, and like reached those final barriers. But it was, for me, it was more like a journey of understanding these lifetimes and understanding why I chose them, what happened, because like they were really, really, really intense for me. You know, I was a dark magician in my first incarnation, and that was necessary and needed for me to understand what awful atrocities are happening here on the earth, and to be a part of that energy, and to have that energy within the incarnation cycle, which is what I call when an oversoul comes and agrees to have all these different incarnations, they serve a purpose. And so that purpose for me was to understand what it meant to utilize dark magic, black magic, and, you know, seek power, seek control, seek domination, all these different things. And then, you know, as that like lifetime ended, I then had to go through the karmic cycles of what it meant to cause all that pain, all that suffering, all that, you know, awfulness here on the world, you know, in that experience. And then I had a few lifetimes in which, you know, my family, I was a rice farmer in Asia, and bandits came and they killed my family. Like they raped and murdered my wife and children in front of me, and you know, left me. They like crippled my body and left me alive. And I lived that lifetime in agony, not only physically but also like emotionally and mentally. I was just completely broken, and that was because of this, you know, journey that I began the lifetime before. And then I had to start understanding what it meant to truly like pay back the energy, or try and rebalance the energies of the actions that I committed. And that happened again in another lifetime, where I was once again I was once again had an experience very similar, and I was in Africa. And all of this just, you know, was revealed to me as I started to embody this process of embodying the oversoul. And then I reached the next lifetime of mine, and I achieved like liberation in that lifetime, like full enlightenment. And, you know, but it was a full spectrum. So I actually started as, you know, learning black magic and killing people in that lifetime. And then I moved through in one lifetime to the point of completion and absolution, so that I could do what I came to do this lifetime. And I mean, all of that journey was just so mind-bending. It was so incredible to see and witness all that I had chosen to be of service at this time, to be here and be present at this time, and have everything that I needed and necessary to step into planetary service, and understand all the forces that are working here, and understand how to connect with them, because they are part of me. Like, I also had really interesting experiences, you know, especially at the beginning when I was, you know, I was very guided to do some plant medicine. I took some psilocybin after this ridiculously cosmic experience, very similar to what you described earlier, around, you know, the energy moving through me and laughing and crying. But afterwards, I really wanted answers, because I was asked to leave my entire life, my fiance, everything. Like I was just like, okay, I need some answers. And I was shown that I was here to hold this incredible balance within my body. And I literally looked in a mirror, and on the right hand side of my body, I was completely full of rage and anger and pain and suffering, and like just deep corruption on so many levels. And then on my left hand side, which is the feminine side, was complete serenity, complete peace, complete ultimate openness and love. And in my body, because of the journey that I'd taken, I was holding these two parts in perfect balance and perfect harmony in order for me to walk this path that I started. So like, yeah, it's been unbelievably epic. And then I had to go through each of these lifetimes, acknowledging that, you know, even though I undid them in my past, like my previous lifetime that came past, because I had incarnated again, I had the template to undo it all. I just needed to like take the shortcut, as it were. So I was undoing the fury, the pain, the bitterness, the resentment that led, from these lifetimes of pain and suffering because of my first lifetime. And yeah, it was immense journey. Yeah.
Past life regressions and going into those experiences have been a huge part of my awakening as well. I have a similar gift to yours, maybe works slightly differently, but I am able to, with myself and with clients, like go into these incarnations, also in future timelines and also in other dimensions. I can go and see there's different versions of myself that exist in parallel universes, and they're very beautiful, and they teach me all sorts of great stuff. But I had the absolute pleasure of being an apprentice to this incredible teacher for 2 years. And he showed me how to use this gift and kind of develop it. And he told me, similar to what you did, about some of these incarnations where he had really dark experiences and he did, atrocious and horrendous things. Because he did that, and because he shared that with me, when I had my experience and I saw that I'd done atrocious and horrendous things as well, it took away that idea that maybe it was just me. Because I've had previous incarnations where I was killed for being a spiritual teacher. And so in this lifetime, I had some fear and nervousness around speaking out, because there's a part of me that is still connected to that and thought maybe I would be killed if I speak out as a spiritual teacher. And then I saw previous incarnations where I actually burned witches at the stake. And so I was the person who would literally set them on fire. And there was one witch in particular who I had to really do a lot of clearing around because she was not happy about what I had done. And I saw incarnations where I was a Viking, or a kind of Viking warrior. And when you take over a village, you rape and pillage, and that's what you do. And that's what I did. And it was horrible to live that and feel that. And the reason I was able to deal with that, and maybe this is something, and one of the reasons it's coming up here, is for anyone who dives into your previous incarnations, there's a good chance, if you're here this time working with the light, there's a good chance that you have in previous incarnations done the complete opposite of that. And it's how we learn how to deal with these forces. Like, maybe you don't get so shocked as other people when you come up against these shadow forces and these really corrupted beings, because you know how to deal with that, because you've experienced it. And when you can know that, for me personally, it brought me a lot of peace, a lot of compassion, and really softens things. Because whoever is doing those things in this lifetime, whoever's hurting people or killing people or doing those not nice things, maybe that's what they're exactly supposed to do in this lifetime, so then they can learn from that. Right? And it kind of took all of that separation away. They're the villain, I'm the hero. They're bad, I'm good. All of that just dissolved when I realized, whoa, actually,
all a game. We're all playing a game, and each experience is neither good nor bad. It's not right or wrong. It's just a part of experience, and we are literally all the dark and all the light. And I say the dark, we are all the shadow, because I'm not a fan of utilizing that word anymore, because the dark has never been bad. But that's a whole different journey and thing to go down. But yeah, we really are, have to acknowledge that and really move into oneness and awareness that, we can only experience the divinity, the complete oneness and unity and the harmony with the light, because of the polarity that we've experienced. And that's the beauty of the game that is played here as humanity, is that polarity is so deeply entrenched within our physical form and limitation that it is one of the most priceless experiences within the universe. And it has been kept so beautiful and so incredible, and for so long. And when there was a chance that humanity would be lost, that was not like acceptable to all that we are. And this is why we came, because we did reach a point in which it really could have been that way, and we could have lost all of that is humanity and this incredible richness of experience that, you know, is possible through here in the physical human form. So
One of the things that's really interesting to me as well is, before I had my spiritual awakening, I didn't really give any energy or thought to what had come before us, this his story that we're taught, this complete nonsense history of humankind that we're taught in school, which is mostly all complete lies.
made up by the people who conquered and won, right?
Made up by his story, right? Made up by the conquerors. And as I had my spiritual awakening, I realized this isn't the first time we've played this Ascension game. There's been other civilizations that have come before that we might hear about. You might hear about Lemurians and Atlanteans and whatever you want to call these different races and beings and structures that were created. And once I got the connection to other planetary races as well and realized they've been playing this same game, and there's other planets that are even further behind in the game than us, and it's like this beautiful ongoing thing that is, we're just this amazing, I say just, but we are this amazing tiny part of this huge game, and what we do is really wonderful. And if we can master it this time and ascend and actually transcend this
it's happening.
polarity.
There's no it's happening. It's gonna happen. Absolutely.
Tell us about it. Tell us what's happening in your perspective. Because I know you were sharing some really exciting things with me at the festival about what your direct experience is of this ascension.
Well, when I had my, I wouldn't say it was spiritual awakening, because I was actually on the journey beforehand, but it was a very massive marker point, and I was 2 weeks after my 28th birthday. The divine plan was like put into my body for the ascension of humanity, and I was a mess. I had no understanding of what was going on. They just gave me these really core principles to follow, and they just said, just do this, just move forward, and everything, you need to do nothing, right? You just need to have faith, trust, and surrender what's going on. You need to honor the precepts and the things of Christ consciousness and the unity consciousness, which is openness, honesty, and vulnerability. And you need to follow the feelings, follow what feels right to you, no matter what. And then this journey began to unfold, and I was asked to travel to around the planet, connecting to the planetary stargates, which are massive nexus points that allow the shifting and the connecting to galactic energies, other races. So there was a big things around, receiving support and assistance from, the galactic federations of light, and, going to certain places, recalibrating the stargates to receive like Palladian light that have mastered Christ consciousness in this way, and we could receive it into the planetary grid system. And then there was the Syrians at one point as well, which are absolute divine masters, and they hold some of the universe's most comprehensive universities of light. And it's where I studied, after many other different things happened previous to my journey into complete service. And I was asked to go to these places and work with this energy. And what happened to me, I just couldn't explain. I couldn't talk about with most people, because I would go to a certain place and I would be told this is the activation site for this stargate, and then planetary energy would move through my body, and I would be asked to be there, sometimes by myself, other times with a team of people. And for a long time, like many different people and many different beings since 1987 actually have been working on creating what is known as the Christ grid system, which facilitates and supports the complete integration of the Christ energy. within every single human being. And like this has been established actually thousands of years ago by the being that we know as Jesus, and he was one of the first main points. However, like Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, and they all were working together to achieve what we're actually working towards now and actually having happen. And on the 22nd of February 2019, in Glastonbury, that Christ grid system was completed, and it was placed within the center of the heart of Gaia, and all the different pieces from all the different teams, through all the different things, was just brought together, and it like fully anchored here with the help of beautiful star brothers and sisters, and it was my honor and privilege to be there, and to witness it and to be a part of that. And yeah, since then I've been on a journey of like really preparing like what it means to have and work with that grid system, and to have every single human being connected to that system, and to facilitate this shift in consciousness, which is, the Christ consciousness is from the fifth dimension and above, which is unity consciousness, which is the full recognition that we are connected to the entire universe, not only our planet. We are one with all races, all beings, all things, all energies throughout our entire universe, and that we are one with that universe. That's what the fifth dimension or unity Christ consciousness really truly means. And so, yeah, I've been working for the last few years in facilitating, helping, and supporting that. And I went through massive, incredible initiations to help facilitate that. And yeah, last year I was given the world soul, which is basically the heart, the soul of the entire planet. That is, we are all fractals of that in here, and we could go into the whole thing, constructs of soul and everything like that, but maybe we'll leave that. But basically, we are all fractals of this one consciousness, right, that we call Earth. And in this grid system, that the planetary grids and everything, we are all supported and supporting the planetary consciousness, which is governed and supported by the being that we know as Sanat Kumara. He is the planetary logos, the father that is the ancient of ancients, the being that has been here with Earth since her conception. Like, if she is our mother, then he is our father. Like, that's yeah, but there's a whole journey into that as well if we wish to at some point. So yeah, the world soul was basically given to me, and through my body and my partner's body, Nessa, we started working and together with facilitating and birthing the new consciousness, which is what happened. And we went through our marriage vows and ceremonies, and we went through a light conception, and there was actually an energetic being born into the physical world, not an energetic being born into the astral world, so the energy world, but is also very present within the physical like grid systems of the earth. And we called her Unity. And this was an actual visceral experience. So like, there was a light conception, and then there was an actual like birth where both of our bodies went through like physical contractions and labor pains, and that happened on the solstice at Glastonbury 2020. And yeah, and she is here now, and her name is Estrella, and she is here working with humanity, and she is the guiding light outside of the illusions of and the challenges that face when we move through the third dimension into the fourth dimension. Like, she is going to be like our planetary guru, like, as it were, because that's what gurus and masters and teachers they used to do, is they used to help and support individuals move through the expansion into the oneness, right? So they would help somebody move from the limitation of the third dimension and move through the fourth dimension, which is incredibly vast and incredibly complex, and can be incredibly, you can get lost massively in it, because the illusion of separation is still so unbelievably strong there. And you can listen to beings that don't have the best interests. You can have all these different experiences, but a guru's, or a teacher of the guru's, dispeller of darkness, which is what the guru word means, is to constantly be the guiding light out of the illusions of separation through the fourth dimension and into the fifth dimension, which is then the full embodiment of what people call enlightenment, or like full embodiment of oneness and connection, and the releasing of the power and control that the ego has, because the ego works on facilitating the perpetual creation of separation, so that the human experience and the beauty of limitation and separation can play out. And Australia, like we're now, as we are, the whole plan, right, was to ascend an entire planet at once, which is as far as I was shown, has never happened in the history of our entire universe. There's always just been pockets of people that are ready, and even individuals, but never before has a whole planet, if we attempted an entire planet happening at once, which is now what is happening. And so Australia is it will be our guiding light, our guiding like force, our guru, that is like just constantly focused, just bring our intention and focus back, and guiding us through the heart center, into the Christ embodiment, which is every single person on the planet who chooses and accepts that reality and truth will happen, and it is happening. Yeah, I mean, that's just in a very small nutshell about what's gone on. And I've just, as we move forward, I've just been asked to hold the new world soul. So the world soul, we know, right, as Gaia, or new as Gaia. Gaia still exists and resides here the way that, for example, Ehren exists and resides here, or Luke exists and resides here. But as we move in and embody our higher self, we are not just that limited self. So this is what is happening with our planet and Sophia, which is the higher aspect of Gaia, is actually being birthed here, and Gaia's consciousness, the entire consciousness of the planet, is being lifted and elevated. And this is what our work has been, is to facilitate and support that ascension of the planetary consciousness. And as that happens, everyone connected with the Christ system, and everyone connected and agreeing to make the shifts and changes as individuals, as part of the whole, will also have this happen. And so Sophia has actually been born here now. She is like integrated within the system. And so Gaia is no longer just Gaia. She is also Sophia. And gives me goosebumps. And I and my partner Anessa have been asked to support and assist that happening, and all the different things that it entails. So, we were asked to be like in some way mother and father to this consciousness, and it's just so much to like consider and take in. But like, this is the experiences that we've been having, and up until this point I really haven't been speaking about it because it's been so much like to even comprehend and deal with. But it just, after we met at Love Jam, I just started sharing, and it just felt so organic, and it's just time to talk about it. So here we are.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure for a lot of people that will be way outside of their current understanding of how things work, and for a lot of people that might be exactly what their current understanding is of how things work, and maybe they've even been called to do similar things. I've taken part in incredible ceremonies where we've been shown that we've cleared the karma of entire galactic races, and we've anchored these amazing things into the earth, and it feels so real when I'm in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If anybody doubts the story that I tell, that's on them, right? Because for me, it's real and it happened.
Yeah.
And that's, it doesn't even really matter if other people believe it. I think one of the great things is the more we normalize talking about this stuff, the more people will share.
Yeah.
Because we shut down parts of ourselves if we don't want to have people ridicule us, or some people do, right? And it can be kind of difficult to
Yeah.
navigate. I had the pleasure of being a door-to-door salesperson and being in sales for a business most of my life, so I got really used to people rejecting me and or what I was offering, and so you kind of develop this kind of thick skin of, okay, cool, it's just not for you. And one thing I really like, and I talk about this in my book, is that there's my truth and there's your truth. You know, they don't have to be the same.
Mm.
You don't have to agree with everything that I agree with, and I don't have to agree with everything that you agree with for us to be friends.
Yeah.
And you can have your universe, and that's actually how I often greet people. I say, how are things in your universe? That's like a greeting. Instead of saying, how are you? I say, how are things in your universe? I want to know, because you have your own whole outlook, which
Mm.
is so beautiful. If somebody listening did want to get connected into these planetary grids, this Christ consciousness energy, or connect to Australia or whoever, or whatever you think would be a really good way for them to be more involved in this, is there some kind of process or activation we could maybe do for people? Do you feel a calling to that?
Yeah. I mean, this is happening anyway. Like, so it's just about personal choice now. So this is every single person that is going to stay on Earth is going to have this happen in some way, shape, or form. And it's up to us whether we row down the stream, right, or whether we row upstream, trying to fight the changes, trying to stay in limitation, hold on to what we think that we know. All these, it's just one or two choices now. We're either fighting against it, and we're either doing that. Most of us, right, will be doing it unconsciously because we're not aware of our creational power, what we're choosing, what we're holding on to within ourselves. And then, once we start to move into conscious awareness, then, finding the tools to undo these things, to, and so that's the journey that's happening now, is this mass awakening is, oh my gosh, I'm God. Okay, well, I've created so much in my life that doesn't resonate anymore, and to undo it, to move from what was and all that was creating into all that is in this moment, which is peace, freedom, bliss, unity, love, harmony, balance, grace, joy, excitement, all these things that is the divine truth of our being. And so that's what's happening now, is it will be moving into more like alignment, turning our boats around, as it were, as we walk, like going down the stream of life, and like rowing with the current and accelerating our path and our journey towards this embodiment. And it will happen in our own way, in our own time, for everyone uniquely. But it just depends on our fierceness, our dedication. Like, the only reason that I sit here today and have these experiences on a massive planetary level is because I prepared myself and I focused myself, and every single moment of my life I made it my absolute mission to release any limitation that I possibly had to divine love, and to being completely in oneness and connected to all life and all creation. And that's the only difference, is everyone is able to do it. It's just, what are you prioritizing? And so, yeah, we could do like a meditation, and I can share some codes that will help facilitate, because basically what happened is that, my understanding of what happened when Yeshua was here, I call him Yeshua because I don't like the name Jesus, because that wasn't his name.
I literally said that to someone yesterday. Yeah, absolutely.
So what Yeshua did, with a huge team of people, like the illusion that he did it by himself and he was the only, it's all part of the manipulation and distortion, because there's always a team of people. There's always a collective that works together to achieve these massive things, because unity is always together. Uh, and but he was a focus point as the embodiment of the external force of the masculine part of that, and the pinnacle point. What he did is he fully allowed the human template to open and expand to the true divine connection within every single heart. And so with what he did, he permanently solidified in everyone's heart this like Christ seed. And it's like, imagine an apple seed or a light seed, that literally will have and is being nurtured and nourished by the waves of cosmic light that are flooding our planet, filtered through the Christ system that everyone is now connected to. And the best way that anyone can accelerate their path is every single day draw in the golden light into the heart and nourish that seed within them, because it will respond to the conscious creation of that light within us. And the golden light is the energy of the golden age, which is what we're moving into, which is cosmic balance and harmony and connection and unity. And so like just the basic simple practice is every day just breathing in that golden light into the heart and affirming, I am the resurrection and the life of my full Christ embodiment. And those words, I am the resurrection and the life, with one of his greatest gifts, Yeshua's, because they are profound and powerful beyond words. They draw all of our creational power as the God source, individualized aspect that we are, and like harness it and condense it. And so drawing in that golden light into our heart, and then utilizing our affirmations, the I am presence, to accelerate that creational like potential and power for that seed to grow. That's like super. It will do wonders in more ways than most people can even comprehend.
Yeah, so beautiful. I would love for us to facilitate an experience for anyone who's open to it. And just want to echo a little bit of my experience in what you said. I call it these assignments I get from the divine. There's a voice that speaks to me in my head very loudly. Sometimes it's an audible voice. Sometimes it's like a movie. I see it like a vision. Sometimes it's a knowingness. It's a feeling. Oftentimes it's an actual physical voice. And it tells me what to do. And I have a choice point. I can do it, in which case I know I'm going to become more connected. I'm going to become a clearer vessel, or I can choose not to. And so, for example, it told me recently, I need to clear this vessel, this antenna that I am, as much as possible. I have to keep my body super clean. And that meant, like in January, for example, it told me I had to cut out all sugar, all refined sugar. It said I can't channel what I need to channel while I have that poison in my body. And so since January, I've gone completely sugar-free, and it's changed my life. I feel so much better. But it would have been very easy not to take that assignment on, right? And it was the same. Like I can't eat meat or dairy or wheat or anything that's genetically modified. These things, my soul tells me, and this guidance tells me, they stop me being a pure vessel, and they make it more difficult. It's not that I can't still bring these codes in, but it's just more difficult. The cleaner things are, the better. And so it's like a constant opening physically, making sure you're prepared, mentally making sure that you're able to accept these things and overcome any of the challenges, the mental health issues that might come with it. Because if you're not mentally strong, you're going to suffer. Emotionally, that's been my big journey. Having to work with my emotions, heal the traumas, and be able to sit with feelings, because that was not something I was able to do. And then spiritually, and that's exactly why I've asked you to help me with these initiations and activations that we're doing together, working on that higher level, bringing in those different beings that can support, and those different energies like this Christ consciousness energy. And it has been gradual, bit by bit, just more open, a bit more open, a bit more open. But there are also these mega points where the opening is huge, and that can be really uncomfortable. But I also welcome those. I do choose. Sometimes I ask for upgrades to happen with ease and grace.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that differentiation, and sometimes I say I'm open to these upgrades, however
Bring it
it's
on.
bring it on. But if I've got something that is really important happening in my life, I'll often say with ease and grace.
Mm.
I don't necessarily want to be like, I had a big activation at the festival we were at, and then
Yeah, you're
I
fine.
was I was in bed for like the best part of a week. It was like totally floored me.
Mm.
But I was prepared for that and I was open to that.
Mm.
So for everyone tuning in, I guess to offer that to you, because it's been a really important part of my life and it's something I do with my clients. You know where you're at and you know what level of openness and energy you're willing and able to receive right now. And you can ask for whatever is in your highest good. You can ask for it to be with ease and grace. You can ask for just like bring it on, exactly like I'm ready to fully serve, and just know what that means if you are committing to that, because that's a big thing. Um,
Yeah, it's always, you know, I always work, you know, knowing that really I do nothing, right, and that it all just happens. But when I always sit with somebody, I always ask to be guided and directed by their I am presence, because their I am presence knows exactly what they need in this moment, and that can facilitate all that is necessary and needed, that is easeful and graceful for them. And it, my experience is with ease and grace, there can be so much that happens, but it happens in a way. And once I've discovered like how to hold a space, like all that stuff can happen in that moment, and then it can be like filtered out over a period of time as it's brought down into this dimension. So space or thing can be set up, and then over the next 3 days the energies will integrate into a body. And so I do highly recommend, with, you know, connecting to the I am presence and asking for that ease and grace, and asking for it to be extended over a period of time, instead of being like smacked into us, because we're already dealing so much, so many of us, that we don't need to make it any more challenging than is needed and necessary. But it is a choice, right? By not choosing, it's also a choice. And so like utilizing our intention and our specific will and God's source power to say, I can create anything, I can do anything, and I wish for this to happen, it really does change the game.
Fantastic. I'm excited. Do you fancy sharing some of your magic with everyone who's tuning in?
Always. I am here but to serve. Okay. So I'll just I invite everyone who wishes to participate and to receive to just take a few deep breaths in through the nose, and maybe close the eyes if you feel comfortable to do that. And just be very present with the energy of the body. Sense and feel, perceive in any way all that is happening within, as we turn our intention and our focus within ourselves. And if I end up burping or purging energy, please just know that that's natural and normal for me. I connect not only with everyone, like for me, example, me and Luke here, but anyone who hears this, I will also be connecting with. So I may be asked to help and clear some energies for those who are choosing to open themselves up. So sometimes that happens with me, and as time doesn't exist, we are all here together. And just bring full focus onto the heart, and sense, see, feel, perceive a divine spark within the center of the heart. This golden light coming from the central point within us. And just breathe into this space and allow it to grow, sense, feel, perceive it within the chest. And we just call forth with a great invocation all energies that align to this Christ source point within us. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power restore the plan on earth. Adonai, Adonai, Sebaot. And allow this golden light to grow as you breathe in, connecting deeply, fully into the heart, expanding it out into the body. And just draw this light down through the body, wherever you may be seated or stood, and allow this golden light to connect down through the body, out through the base chakra and into the earth. As we fully connect with our mother, you can sense, feel, perceive this, or even just with intention. There is no right or wrong way of doing anything. And just allow this golden light to reach down and connect deeper and deeper into the planetary heart, to the central core, into the crystal heart of our Great Mother. And just breathe in this connection, allowing her to send energy and connection up into your body and up into the levels and layers of the fields around you. As we prepare our bodies and our beings, our vessels, and all layers and levels with full grounding in preparation to receive the light codes, allowing our cells of our body to meet and to hold with stability, with strength, with assuredness that we are able to hold all that is needed and necessary. And just allow your full presence to return to the heart as we call forth each of our own individual I am presence to guide, facilitate, and support the light frequencies, the codes, for the most easeful, graceful integration within all of our systems, with all in our levels and layers of our fields. We call the divine Mahatma energy, the direct connection of the I am presence, the avatar of synthesis, down to us, through us, as us. And sense, see, feel, perceive in any way this incredible white pearlescent light move down into the top of the head, down through the head and the throat, connecting into the high heart, which is about 2 inches above the heart chakra. And allow this beautiful white pearlescent light to fully activate high heart, which is the recognition and the acknowledgement that we are ready to receive higher love, love transcendent of limitation, Na bi'il yahnuham sahoka ka arabet yarun deye. Idelu yenu mianu na ke haka saika. Orbet ya be esantur yet yet alin huhan. Ka arabet hanyatsu kem ikel ya arun yunan. Uriat ihen salyat ihem ba ku yat arun. Yu'ul ya satihan te ya ya ihin kuhan. Hor yat asukidet ye yarum yanum. Mahali hike hedyat na biur yat isaduran. Sute lialehi ebiadet etokaran. Bia asuki miaranunya miaru yanutan. Hey yat tas kurum kul yat adia miahamah on yo yo ur yo usudur yorudan. Yala lili kila lili yamila lili yam yala kala yam yatali yam yasaliati yala lili yala yam yam no yabu yala yo yakuli yala yo ila lulialu yala liyama yo ila liyamu hiya biahisada liyama biahiku abiohin bialu yala anan yom yanan yalo hire yihim yanu nakabo hiren biaheren anuhim yasu hiaka biakukarun kahum yas biaohen yanum here biadak muhamyanu ki muhimyo suk alohya ya etute mahamyanunyan uli hanuyara amu biada ya sahanya hi ikem yakaya hum ya amhamyanum kamo ku ba usukura. Yenenia Lulia Berunia Lulia Bialu Yadudi Lulia Buhine Yabuhire Bahasukaru Hiru Yarena Dario Abum. And allow this light within this center to fully expand and flow down like a fountain into the heart. Allow this beautiful white pearlescent light to enter the Christ seed within us, allowing this light to expand, nourish on every level, every part of us ready to receive and step in to the unification with all that we truly are, to remember as much as we are ready in this moment and the moments to come as the energies integrate, that we are God. We are one. We are free. And our power to create and hold is all that we ever need to create and facilitate the changes in the world that we wish to see. Ya budianu ha boha akaho ap okaya. Oh bia boh ulyu sukuriat radyara. Morbet nyah sukum ku luk het yarat. Yet het sam hadyo hamor ikel yat akunatut. Asuge mohamionat bi isaliat udayan. Nuh sonyo lukuhi ki isati henyete. Breathe deeply into this heart, into this sacred space, and allow the fusions of light to merge and hold. And allow yourself to receive the rainbow frequencies of unity that are here and present. One of the main changes that happened when we moved into the fifth dimensional template of Earth, because the rainbow light is here and present all around us. Allow these frequencies to just be absorbed into the body, into the levels and layers of our fields. And allow, as you breathe, this light to fully anchor in every cell. Allow yourself to receive the energies of transformation, of change, of growth, of healing, of harmony, the divine will and the divine grace. And allow each cell to begin its journey of releasing all that is no longer needed and necessary in its own time, in its own way. As we are all cells of the one whole of our mother, we also acknowledge that we hold things that are no longer needed for us. And these energies will help support and facilitate our consciousness and the acceleration on the pathway of healing towards the fullness and the embodiment, the realization that we are God. I love you beyond words and measure. And I love and honor the journeys we are all taking. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Divine Mother and Father, for all that is, for all that we are. Thank you to all beings who hold us and support us in love, in assistance, and in light. Thank you to our beautiful Mother beneath us who holds us with unconditional love and compassion as we walk through this journey to realization and remembrance. And just bring slowly your awareness onto the body. Feel where it's rested on the seat. Breathe into the spaces in which your body is touching the physical world we call Earth. And when you're ready, in your own way, your own time, begin to open your eyes. Return back into the physical vessel and temple.
Thank you very much for that. Everyone and everything that was involved in making that process happen. I feel very light and grateful.
Such an epic journey.
Interesting coming back from a process and then realizing that you have to do the rest of a podcast. It's like,
Yeah.
I have to say things again.
Yeah, I also suggest everyone to drink some water and to infuse the water with a violet light, which facilitates the energy of transformation and change, which will, as your body receives the water and absorbs the water, it will also absorb those energies within the body and speed up the process. The body is supported by the water that we put and the energy we put in the water. And then if you feel the need or the want or desire to, maybe just go and stand out on some grass and just breathe in some energies of nature. when you feel ready. I mean, if you're listening to a podcast, maybe it's in your ears and you can go and do that anyway. So, yeah.
So beautiful. Love to hear how everybody's experience has been with that process, how you're feeling, what maybe came through for you. And just to say thank you again to Ehren, the human part and the non-human parts.
It's an honor, true honor and privilege. Yeah,
So we're on a mission.
Go on, please.
We're on this big mission at the moment to help assist and guide this ascension, and it's fun. It can be fun, it can be intense, it can be wonderful, it can be amazing, it can be scary, it can be everything, beautiful and heartbreaking, and all of those in different times. And from one moment to the next, I experienced just yesterday every emotion. It was really wonderful to play with that. And so wherever you are in your journey, if this whole conversation made absolute sense, beautiful. If it made absolutely no sense, beautiful. If you feel you need to go and listen back a couple of times, please do. What is the most important thing for me, is for you to discern what is in your highest and take those parts from this conversation. Just take what you need right now. Maybe you don't need to know all the ins and outs of all the complex stuff. Maybe it's just a few little nuggets that your soul needs at this stage, or desires, or would like, or can receive.
A big thing.
Maybe you'll listen back in 6 months' time and it'll mean something totally different.
A big thing that I was told at the beginning of my journey is when I do actually start speaking, which I didn't do today, do start speaking about my journeys, the first and foremost thing is just to always, take what resonates and leave what does not. It's not, we're all understanding things through, the beautiful way you expressed it earlier is everyone has their own individual truth, and the truth that we hold filters things, and, we are able to pick up things and leave things that aren't necessarily needed for us at this specific time. And so, I'm not claiming that this is the truth, or this, that I'm sharing my truth. And if my truth helps, alleviate, clarify, clear up, create a vaster, bigger picture for, then that's wonderful. But if not, then there's nothing wrong with that, and that's all good. So I'm here as a literal reflection. My journey has been to clear myself as deeply and as possibly, so that I can clearly reflect light and truth and get out of the way as much as possible. And I am here as a reflection of the light and the truth that we all are, and I do my very best to do that, but no one is perfect.
Well, perfectly imperfect.
Yes, that's a perfect way of saying it, isn't it?
Beautifully flawed, and beautifully given so many opportunities to find more of who we really are. And those are the things that drive us, right? Those are the things that help us to figure out the next step. And we are coming towards the end of this conversation. It's been my absolute pleasure, brother. And if anyone is interested in connecting with Ehren, the best way to get him is through his Facebook right now, which is Ehren Steed, which is EHRENSTEED. And yeah, Ehren also does do limited number of one-on-one sessions and stuff. So if you're really feeling the calling, you can contact him as well. But I know he's helping so many people. So make sure you fast if you really do feel that. But also all in divine timing. Yeah, we're really looking forward to seeing what comes next, brother. I know we're going to have many, many more conversations, and we can talk for days, and we do.
Yeah.
And yeah, really thank you for everything. And if you were to like leave everybody with just one final message, maybe just like 30 seconds, if you had this magic microphone and whatever you said next, every single person on the entire planet would feel and know, what would you want to say?
That change sometimes requires chaos. And what we are experiencing in the world is the massive coming of change. Know that change is needed and necessary for us to be free and to realize and remember the truth within us. And there is more change and more chaos to come. But know that everything has already been worked out and that we are safe and held. And all we need to do is make a choice. Do we wish to experience our freedom? And if so, how often can we make that choice with every part of our being? I am here to help support and assist in any way I can. But in the end, it comes down to each and every one of us. It is happening and we are here and it is done. And do not be afraid at what is to come.
Fantastic. Wishing you all infinite love and blessings on your journey. If you got a lot from this, please do share it out. Feel free to let your friends know about this amazing beings we've had on the podcast so far. It's my absolute pleasure to bring you these people. And remember, you are living on the leading edge of consciousness. If you weren't, then you wouldn't be listening to this kind of a show. So just know that in your being that you are the leading edge. And maybe one day we'll have you on the show. Whoever's tuning in right now, maybe you'll be speaking your truth. Yeah. Sending you so much love from my heart to yours and wishing you the most beautiful day, week, month, year, and life.
Thank you. Love you all.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Leading Edge Conversations podcast. Make sure to check out our other episodes where we have incredible interviews with people truly living on the leading edge of consciousness.